Don? The Don?
I understand the love of Dandadan now. Oh my god, I'd do anything for these kids.
Legit, if you're not reading Dandadan by this point, what are you even doing with your time?
Fuck that Kagurabachi shit. Dandadan will win the hearts of the people.
Dandadan moving up in the world for real.
Taking myself on a date to see Dandadan in theaters, and I got a seat in the center.
Yeah. Dandadan is fucking lit, bro.
信じるわ、宇宙人。
自分も幽霊信じま
In this day and age, it takes a story concept that feels like you've never been there before to truly stand out. It's not about being original, but feeling original. For instance, starting at the end of the journey, Dungeon Meshi tricking you into watching a dark fantasy comedy, Maki Ine breaking the tropes of the romance genre, and Witch Hat Atelier is soon to revolutionize the anime magic power system forever. And we can now add Dandadan to that list, giving us the action tropes we love with a story that takes you on a wild ride from episode 1, having one of the best starts to any story I've seen in a minute, and will easily have you saying, this anime is pure adrenaline. For once in my life, I have actually read a manga before the anime came out. Woohoo! So let's get into why this anime will be Jump or Jump Plus's saving grace moving forward, and why, if you haven't already, should hop on the Dandadan hype train. For you people living under a rock, Yukino Butatsu's Dandadan follows the story of Momo Ayase and Ken Takakura, or Okarun, I'll be switching between the two, as they accidentally enter the world of the supernatural. Aliens, curses, giant crabs, your typical Tuesday. And now the two must fight their way through several non-human entities because this cursed old lady took D's.
What? D's nuts?
You heard that right. It's up to Momo and Ken to fight the supernatural for Ken's family jewels. This show is the supernatural equivalent of what happens if you click on the hot single ladies in your area ad on the sites you're not supposed to be on. Gentlemen, you've been warned. If she's messaging me, it'd be rude to ignore.
Hard to know.
And through all the action, Momo gaining psychic powers, Ken learning to master his curse, and the giant crab. You already said that. I really like the giant crab arc. Dandadan is actually tricking you, not really tricking you, into watching a rom-com. It's that moment in the video where I make up a combination of genres to best describe the show and prove my point. And Dandadan is an action, supernatural, horror, romantic comedy. Let me cook. Dandadan is a mixed bag of genres, making its appeal as a series vast because it has so many angles to take its story. Even in a single arc, we are jumping from romance to action to horror to drama, and it all blends so damn well that you won't even care what genre the show is, you just want more of it. But behind every single genre this show explores is a romantic undertone that solidifies in my and several other fans' eyes that this show at its core is a romance. More specifically, a love story. This is the result of Jump realizing that audiences want more than your standard action show while still kind of giving you your standard action show. The fights are clean and smooth, the battle tactics are creative and fun to watch, giving you that good old shonen action feel. But what I love about Dandadan's action the most is how much of a bonding experience it is. The story is written around Momo and Okunun's relationship as these two push the plot forward with every interaction. Sure, we get cool action scenes, but they are laced with so much emotional subtext that it makes each scene even more impactful. From Momo awakening her psychic powers, realizing her love for her grandmother, to Ken trying his best to save the only friend he's ever made, Dandadan always manages to tie its themes back to some form of love. Momo literally has to hold Ken together for the first arc, physically and emotionally, leading to some less than adequate bonding experiences. Imagine pooping in front of your crush on day 2. That's rough, buddy. Ken only gets the idea to use the power of the curse so he can be of some use to Momo, the only person who has ever stood up for him. Granny Seiko treats being a cursed Ken like Momo bringing a bad boy home that she doesn't approve of, later connecting to how hurt she was when Momo didn't believe her as a child. And even Turbo Granny is slowly building a relationship with these kids, saving Momo's life in episode 1 for reasons you find out later in episode 4, and treating them more as rivals than actual prey. These are experiences that can't be replaced. Dandadan's action goes out of its way to not only be a cool fight scene, but a bonding moment for the characters. With every tactic, power move, and nut-stealing ability, these characters are growing closer to each other, especially Momo and Okarun. A thrill so fulfilling that a simple goodbye isn't enough, and a see you tomorrow must be stated to signify this is only the start of their connection. It all goes back to love. whether that is familial love, friendship, or romance. But Dandadan also dives into the realm of horror as we... I think you get the point. The imagery of this show can be absolutely terrifying, even more so in the manga, as a lot of these creatures our cast encounters are based on real supernatural sightings. The show wastes no time turning the creepy dial up to 100, dark shadows knocking on the door, giant monsters, possessed humans, and just look at that alien design. Hell no, my black ass is staying home. Y'all gonna have to do this one without green screen, RJ. But that's the thing I want to point out about Dandadan's horror. It's not scary. It's creepy. As a certified Academy Award-winning punk bitch when it comes to horror, I haven't seen a single scary movie in the last 6 years. That's not a mistake. I want to sleep well at night. Dandadan's horror elements have never frightened me, even with its creepy imagery, and that's because, you know by now, it's a love story. And this is best demonstrated in the acrobatic Silky arc. The arc mainly focuses on two characters, Ida and acrobatic Silky, and we even start the arc off with themes of love. Ira is in love with herself, and acrobatic Silky is also in love with Ira. Okay, not as heartwarming as I thought it would be, but we're getting there. This arc is laced with horror imagery in both the anime and the manga. When you see and interact with spirits, they can also see and interact with you. I don't get paid enough for this. And once again, look at the creepy design for acrobatic Silky. If you saw that thing down your hallway, you'd be moving the next day. Why do I have a suitcase? Don't worry about that. Long story short, the search for Okarun's nuts accidentally gets Ida involved, and we discover acrobatic Silky has an unhealthy relationship with our little narcissist, resulting in another crazy battle for D's. D's what? Oh, you're not getting me this time. Okay. You're learning. But you dropped that. Dropped what? Dropped the ball! But it always goes deeper with this story, as we find out what we're really watching is a story of an unfulfilled mother trying her best to give her daughter a better life, and a daughter trying to be the best for her mom. In other words, love for one's family. This is why I say Dandadan is a love story more than a romance. It could have easily focused on romantic love only, but it streamlines its connection to all facets of the word, and I think that's what makes the show a lot more appealing. Romance is great, but so is making a new best friend, and so is spending time with family that cares for one another. The best part about Dandadan is that it doesn't have to tell its story this way, but it does it anyway, because what would be the fun in doing things differently? You click on an episode and you start off with two people becoming friends, and then there are aliens, curses, sad backstories, and then you end off on a reveal that sparks one of the greatest romances Jump has ever produced, and it only gets weirder from here. Trust me. You start off confused, then laughing, then hyped, and might be a little creeped out along the journey, but at the end of it all, you end up with this heartfelt message that bonds you closer to the characters, journey, and world. Gintama does the same thing without the horror, so shout out to Gintama, but I'm gonna go drag green screen RJ back. And I would regret it forever if I didn't give kudos to the creative geniuses at Science Saru for taking this already stellar manga and doing what anime does best, breathing new life into those pages. I said it on Twitter, and I'll say it again. Dandadan and Science Saru are a match made in heaven, soulmates even. Director Fuga Yamashiro and the rest of the animation team are outdoing themselves, as visually this may be one of the best anime the studio has produced. The vibrant color palettes, the smooth animations, the flat character designs that work better for the anime specifically over the more detailed ones for the manga, all prove to me that this adaptation is in good hands because they're doing what works for the medium they're in while staying as faithful as they can to the source material. And shout out to the voice actors in both English and Japanese. I have no idea how you took the voices in my head while reading the manga and found them in real people, but since you did a really good job, I'll excuse the invasion of privacy. But on a serious note, I know you've seen the English cast on Twitter, and I just want to say I love it when voice actors are excited about their roles. It's just a heartwarming thing to see. Oh, and the music! Kensuke Ushio composed it, which you may know him from Space Dandy, A Silent Voice, Dangers in My Heart, Heavenly Delusion, Chainsaw Man, so you know we're vibing with this one. That funk beat goes hard. The fashion in this show is also great. I know this may not have anything to do with the production team, but still, drip is drip. And I knew the team was going to be stacked, but this is better than I could have ever imagined. Like, did you see the episode 4 chase scene? Did you really see it? Did you look at it with your eyes and see the entire picture on the screen? It was just I could go on forever. Sorry guys, I had to pee. Unlike Okarun, I still have my nuts. One last nut joke for the road. Dandadan is the most anticipated anime of the year, and for good reason. I know I have a slight history of calling out the fact that popularity doesn't always equal the best shows, and I still believe that. But this one, I think it deserves the hype it's getting. Nothing is perfect, but I do think Dandadan is a great and well-needed addition to this new age of popular anime, just like all the titles I named at the beginning of this video. I'm starting to see a trend of me loving stories that have a secret, not-so-secret aspect to them that you couldn't tell without watching the show. Shows that make good use of the proverb, never judge a book by its cover. And I don't think I'm the only one falling in love with this type of writing. Even downtime slice-of-life moments like the beginning of episode 5 don't really feel like downtime because whenever Momo and Ken are on screen, you still feel the story moving forward, further proof that the romance/love is at the core of everything. This is why I think it's safe to say that Dandadan is indeed a mixed bag, but at its core, it's a love story. And if none of what I said is enough to convince you of the obvious, Tatsu himself said that he read 100 romance manga in preparation for the writing of the series, so... As for Jump, or Jump Plus for you fact-checking weebs, I think this is a major step in the right direction as they've kind of been doing this since the digital magazine started. Audiences want more than the stereotypical friendship power-up stories that they're known for publishing, and although those stories have a special place in my heart, variety is never a bad thing and is always welcome. It may not actually be saving the Jump brand, but Dandadan and the different variety of stories in its generation kind of feel like they are, especially with recent heavy hitters closing up shop. And my point, and the point of this video, is that feeling and the reasons behind it are enough to move mountains. The year is almost over. That's crazy. What do you think about Dandadan? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you despise it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much to our patrons for supporting us, and follow us on socials because we stream. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and that these things don't end until I say my catchphrase, so as always, my friends, I am RJ Lane, and this has been On the Rise.